time for the next one, guys.
Yeah,
Moana.
he's my least favorite Spider-Man.
All right, Moana 2. Okay. I just want to see I haven't seen the first one, by the way. I was supposed to watch it, but
I've seen it. Yeah, I liked it. It was fine.
That was good. I enjoyed it.
I don't even see the budget here, but uh
Are you still on Magpie?
all right.
No, Moana 2.
Oh, okay.
I liked it, but it's not like, oh my god, because I like a lot of people like it. I think maybe people overhyped it for me, and when I went to go see it, it was just like, yeah, this is all right.
So basically The Rock comes back, and you guys know the rumor that they're gonna be doing a live action Moana, right?
Yep.
Yeah, unnecessarily so, because good
Yeah,
god,
because it's way too quick. Usually live action movies come out like 50 years later or
I'll say this though, The Rock
20
has
years
way
later.
more life in this than I've seen in a lot of his other roles. Like there's
Fair
one
enough.
movie we're about to talk about now where I'm like, maybe you need to inject some Maui into your performance here.
It's like Harrison Ford. He sometimes, with Harrison Ford, you can always tell what movie he wants to be and what he doesn't want to be. Same thing with Bruce Willis. You can kind of see which movies are actually the ones they want to be in.
Even Denzel, honestly, for me. You can
Well,
tell when
in their
he's
last years, yeah, in the last few years, yeah.
you can tell where he's just making a quick buck or where he's really interested in something. So well, here the cast includes Nicole Scherzinger, Khaleesi Lambert Tuda. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce this name. I know I'm gonna butcher it, but I think the surname is Cravalho. Uh, Screenplay by David Derrick Jr. and directed by David Derrick Jr. And the other person who made the screenplay was Jared Bush. So my prediction for this is 400 million plus.
Yeah, probably. It's gonna do well because people like Moana. It's the girl boss trope kind of done right, I
Mhm.
guess. The Rock and Maui is a beloved character, and it's about uniting two islands or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, okay, for me, I think it's an okay trailer. There's a lot more jokes than I remember there being in the entire movie, just in this trailer alone, in the first movie. The antagonist seems to be a bit all over the place. I thought, like with like this person on the side that keeps coming, talking on the side, and it's very weird. So I have a feeling they're taking a bit of a weird turn with this one, in my opinion. There seems to be a very strong focus on comedy, and I'm a little bit worried about it, to be honest. It has, oh, by the way, just for the stats, it has an easy 12 million views. Makes sense. Also, something I was worried about is, you notice the trailers? There's no actual singing there. In fact, there was so little singing that I had to actually go behind the scenes just to make sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like Lynn, what's his face, Miranda isn't there. So
Lin-Manuel,
yeah,
I think
not there.
Lin-Manuel, I think he was currently working on something else, if I'm not mistaken. There's
Yeah.
something else that came out recently where he was working on, yeah, because it
Yeah.
seems like he's like the music guy for Disney now.
Yeah.
A lot
The
of
script
projects
doctor, basically.
is
Yeah.
yeah, he's involved in a lot of projects.
So it doesn't seem to be this one. Seems to be two different ladies this time. I see them going a bit big with some orchestral stuff. But I have look. It's a Moana 2. The first one made like $1 billion. There's no
Yeah.
way this one shouldn't. But I'm a bit skeptical as to the low energy around it because I feel like this is the first time I remember hearing about this movie. Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, also, I think, there was COVID things, but Inside Out did pretty
A
well.
billion, yeah.
The reason why I'm saying the
Yes.
COVID stuff is I'm just thinking, I think animation not took a
Hit.
hit, because I think theaters in general took a hit, and I think
Yeah.
like stuff in theaters, like there's not a lot of energy around stuff in theaters anyway nowadays, because streaming things have also changed things. But looking at this, I still think it'll probably do fine. It'll be a movie that if it's in decline in quality compared to the first one, it'll do well, and then it'll take time for people to be like, "Ah, this is actually not as good as the first one." So I
Yeah.
don't see this doing less than like for me, my prediction would have to be like positive 500 million.
Right.
All right, so you're switching yours to plus
mhm.
500. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add something quickly. So the guys from Acquired podcast, they mentioned something quite interesting. They were just making a comparison between movies that came out from the late 80s or rather early 80s until maybe like the early 2000s or the early 2010s to the 2010s to now. And they said something interesting. They said that no, I think it was 80s until the early 2000s. Movies that really made a lot of money back then were original movies, right? And then post 2010, movies that started making a lot of money were sequels or reboots. So the thing about these animated movies, I think some of the reasons why I think one of the reasons why some of them are on a decline is that they're sequels, right? And I mean, when you look at Cars, for instance, Cars sequels were horrible. Cars 2 is probably one of the worst Pixar movies ever made. So I think that becomes the problem, and I think that's why other studios like your DreamWorks, Illumination, sort of make some money, even though some of their sequels are questionable. But Illumination, for instance, they know that if they release a Minions or another, what's this? What's that movie again? Despicable. They might make decent numbers. But for something like Disney and Pixar, it's starting to feel like cash grabs because they know the IP works, if that makes sense. So I
Well,
think
in Illumination's
that's what.
case, it's also a cash grab because they refuse to do anything else with those characters. But anyway, just in
Yeah,
general,
for
I
sure.
think Moana too because it's hitting that diversity inclusion thing without and people can't call it out per se. I think that's
Because
another thing that's like in its corner.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, I can't see this movie doing anything less than like 500 million because
Yeah,
I think it's got a lot of like this now as a Disney IP has a lot of things going for it. And
right.
also she's not a princess. So it kind of strays
Even though
away
she
from,
behaves like one.
yeah, but I'm saying it kind of strays away from that princess trope thing. So
She's kind of like Ariel or Pocahontas in terms of, well, from what I've seen from the trailer.
maybe
well, yeah.
not Ariel, but definitely Pocahontas.
I don't know. I don't see. Well, maybe because she's talking to the elements and everything, I guess. But yeah. Well, anyway, I guess she's a less problematic Pocahontas,
Yeah.
which also I guess is hitting a need that other people have wanted as well. So I think seeing as the first one was decent, I don't think this one does. Like even if it's questionable, I don't see it box office wise doing too badly.
Okay.
um,
Rob, you wanted to say something?
yeah. Again, I'm all over the place on this one because mathematically it's not mathing for my liking. But the thing is, it is a Moana 2 movie because the way it's done feels like it feels like a Disney sequel. By that I mean, if you've ever watched like Tarzan 2, you know Tarzan 2,
Or the
or
Little Mermaid too. Yeah.
yes, or Beauty and the Beast 2, where it's like they're not doing a full-on focus story, but instead they're
Yes.
doing this like high comedy, high
Direct to
fun type.
video
It's
material.
yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I
Moana
mean,
is
it could
not.
also it could be an Aladdin and the 40 Thieves. So we don't
Yes,
know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not hitting me that like I think Frozen 2 did really well, as far as I know, because even Minions made almost under $1 billion this year. So I'm like,
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you guys a question, but I just want to get your figure first and then I'll get to the
so
question.
I'm like stressing right now. So I'm gonna say 450 plus 450 million. Because I think logically speaking, if it wasn't for the Moana thing, this thing would barely break 300 million. But I feeling because of IP strength, it might even go as high as 800 million or a billion. But I have no faith in the actual quality of the product itself. So I'm gonna say plus 450 million.
And I
That's
feel
my
like
guess.
Disney is getting in its own way because they're releasing Mufasa next month, right? So the fact
Oh,
that they're releasing
That's
this,
terrible idea.
it's
it's
That's
horrible.
cannibalizing itself.
It's
Yeah, what's going
horrible.
on?
It's like they're self-sabotaging. Why would you release Moana and then release Mufasa the following month?
No, because
If
Moana is
what you
going to completely destroy Mufasa because nobody wants to see Mufasa, one. And two, the Mufasa story that you're trying to tell does not make any sense.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right. But I think this is a sign of Disney's faith. Because you have to remember something. This December is that James Cameron period,
yes,
that
yes,
Titanic period, that Avatar
exactly,
period. This is where they make their
exactly.
most
The
money.
Star
Which,
Wars period.
exactly, which means they have
Aquaman
more faith in. I
and
think
Mufasa.
they think Moana 2 is a bad movie, which is making
And
me
they think
even more.
Mufasa, they think
It's a
Mufasa is the.
masterpiece.
Oh
Yes.
God.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
what happened.
God.
Remember what happened in 90, was it 96 or 97?
Yes.
Where
the
they
second
made
year.
Pocahontas and Lion King, and they thought Pocahontas was gonna be better, and then Lion King
Yes.
actually became the best animated movie of all time.
God,
The
this
highest
is
grossing animated movie of all time.
yes, this is fascinating right now. I feel like we're about to witness something ridiculous.
Yeah.
We'll
No, for
see.
No,
sure.
I mean the thing is with Pocahontas, like I think the thing is that it was too problematic even for the time.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they tried to make the Native Americans on the same level as the Spanish Inquisition, it was just like, guys, no,
And also, guys, if you remember,
no.
Pixar had already released Inside Out earlier this year. I know that Pixar is separate from Disney Animation, but at the same time, it's still the same
Still
company.
Disney, yeah.
So I don't know, the scheduling just doesn't make sense to me.
Nah, I think we're right. I think they have more
No,
faith in Lion King.
which is crazy because the thing is, Lion King bombed.
Yeah.
It did not do well. What do you think telling the original Mufasa is going to do? And also, you're telling the original Mufasa, clearly making Scar like he's
The good
justified
guy.
now.
Yeah. But
Okay,
also,
he's not the good guy, but
He's
he's
beyond
completely
justified. Yeah.
justified.
He's
yeah,
like,
but also, I think they didn't have faith in Lion King 2. Remember, there's Lion King 2, the animated
yes,
movie.
the
So instead
whatever.
of doing Kiara's story, they rather made Mufasa's story because they know Mufasa's more iconic than Kiara.
And also,
So
don't forget, I think this was made during that Killmonger time. I have a feeling this is that Killmonger energy type stuff.
Killmonger,
God.
Joker,
Yeah, it's got that
uh,
Killmonger.
yeah,
101 Dalmatians. What was it called?
102 Dalmatians.
101 Dalmatians. The one with the what's her name? Where they made it about the villain.
Cruella.
Cruella. There we go. I think this was
Cruella.
written in that time period, but only
Yeah.
released now.
So I'm
So
saying they're trying
But
to, but they're focusing on Mufasa. The thing is that if they taint Mufasa, they taint the IP.
yep.
100%.
And if Scar is now justified in that he was the original real ruler, and then this random lion came in, and now he's the ruler, it's like that's not even how that works.
Yeah. It's not how the circle of life.
But
Scar
anyway,
couldn't
Rob, what's
take
your
the.
number?
Anyway, yeah.
So I said plus 450, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing it safe.
I just want to ask you guys one question before we move on. Which IP do you guys think is more iconic in recent years between Frozen and Moana? Which one would you say is more would
Frozen.
last longer in the minds of kids?
Frozen because of the
Frozen, eh?
superpowers.
And that Let It Go song, I guess.
Okay, now
There's also that.
I'm going to say on the power of what you said, right? Because your wording was staying power. So if you're talking in terms of staying
Yes.
power, I actually think Moana has more depth
Oh,
than
no. Rob is right. Rob is right. And I'll tell you why. Because I think solely for the fact that it's not a white princess. I think that is something that people have been clamoring for a while. And it's the diversity that nobody can challenge. It's not like a race swap or whatever.
Well,
Like
yes.
it's clearly its own IP, and like you can't take that from people, and they're going to prop it up a whole lot more than
Okay.
Elsa, I think, or based off of that.
Okay,
That's
I
my
agree.
reasoning.
Yes, I agree with that on one level, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's if you think about the Frozen 2 marketing, and you think about the Frozen 2 push, this push is nothing like the Frozen 2 push. The Frozen 2 push was huge. The marketing was huge. You couldn't not see Frozen 2. This one, I forgot
Yes,
there
that's
was a
true.
Moana 2 until you said it now. Until
Right.
I saw the lists of our movies coming out. So
Uh-huh.
in terms of actual depth of writing, in terms of like the depth of the native work that they did for Moana, I think it's stronger than Frozen. But in terms of
Right.
raw marketing and energy behind it, it's definitely Frozen. So but that's why Moana is going to stick around for longer emotionally, whereas Frozen won't stick around that long because it was, it was hyped. I don't know, the great white hype, you could say. Whereas
Yeah,
Moana,
but I'm just saying.
Right.
I think the thing is that I'm saying like the thing is people have been on Disney's case a
oh yeah, definitely,
very long time.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
yeah, so I
you
think the
remember when
thing is
they
with
did
Moana, it's one of its biggest strengths.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, when they did the what?
When they did the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Except
I
they
mean
made her a
it was
frog for
big,
the
but
whole
it
freaking
doesn't have
movie.
it doesn't really have a long lasting impact. People hardly talk about that movie.
Oh yeah.
So
I
No,
guess yeah.
it's around. Tiana is around, but I think the problem is that because she spends the movie as a frog, there's a bit of a disconnect.
I mean, the music is timeless. I actually think it's stronger than the Frozen music as far as
No,
timelessness.
that's
I'm saying
it.
the music is great, but I'm saying I
Yeah.
think the thing is that people could not connect because I think they're just like I had to spend the whole movie with a frog. And I think if maybe they did something where they look human to us, the viewers, and they look like frogs to everybody else, maybe that would have made it like a stronger thing. Because I just know there was a lot of criticism where it was just like she can't even be a princess for the whole movie. The minute she kisses a frog, now she got to be a frog also. It's
I've
like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's the same gripe people had with Soul with Jamie Foxx. They felt like okay, so most of the movie this guy's gonna be a spirit. And this is the first black main character in a Pixar movie, and he's a spirit most of the time. What's the point?
Or that
So
Will Smith's movie where he was a spy and they turned him into a bird. And they're just like,
yeah,
Jesus.
like nobody talks about that one. Yeah.
no
You
staying
know,
power.
but
But
anyway,
anyway, guys, let's move on.
okay.